Shaykh-ul-Arab-wal-Ajam, Maulana Hussain Ahmed Madani. May Allah's mercy be upon him. Maulana Hussain Ahmed Madani was the Shaykh-ul-Islam of Islamic India, the Sadr-ul-Mudarriseen and Shaykh-ul-Hadith of Darul Uloom Deoband, the President of Jamiat Ulema-e-Hind, a highly revered teacher to thousands of Islamic scholars, a perfect spiritual guide to millions of people, and an Imam of both spiritual and political leadership. You are the Imam of the sciences of knowledge of this era, the head of the council for guidance and spiritual path, a mountain of unwavering resolve, an emblem of profound reflection, the fount of insightful wisdom, the embodiment of asceticism and contentment, the figure of excellent morals, and the champion of generosity and bravery. He was the champion of patience and contentment, the leader of the caravan of striving and intellect, and a complete living legacy of the righteous predecessors. Your birth occurred on October 6, 1879 in Uttar Pradesh, where your esteemed father, Syed Habibullah, was the headmaster of a middle school and the entire family resided there. So that your esteemed father was a devoted disciple of Maulana Fazal Rahman Ganj Muradabadi. This family of Sayyids, distinguished by their profound knowledge and piety, consistently commanded immense respect. During the royal era, they were proprietors of a significant estate. He acquired his initial education within the confines of a primary school. At the age of 14, he arrived at Darul Uloom Deoband. He enrolled in the initial classes. Here, Hazrat Shaykh-ul-Hind, with special care and grace, supervised his education and training. After 7 years at Darul Uloom Deoband, he graduated in 1898. At Darul Uloom Deoband, he benefited from and had the honor of studying under many eminent scholars. Among them were Shaykh-ul-Hind, Maulana Mahmud ul-Hasan, Maulana Zulfiqar Ali, Maulana Abdul Ali, Maulana Khalil Ahmad Saharanpuri, Maulana Hakim Muhammad Hassan, Maulana Mufti Aziz ul-Rahman Usmani, Maulana Ghulam Rasul Hazarvi, Maulana Hafiz Muhammad Ahmad, Maulana Habib ul-Rahman Usmani. Among them are included luminaries of knowledge like Maulana Sayyid Muhammad Siddiqui. After completing the educational curriculum of Darul Uloom Deoband and having spent 7 years immersed in its scholarly environment, upon your return to your native land, your esteemed father had already made all preparations for the sacred migration to Medina al-Munawwara with his entire family. You also embarked on your journey along with your esteemed parents. Before your departure for the sacred land of Hijaz, you had already pledged your spiritual allegiance to the revered Qutb-ul-Aqtab, Hazrat Maulana Rashid Ahmed Gangohi. And it was by his divine command that in Makkah Mukarramah, you received profound spiritual grace and benefit from Sayyid ul-Taifa, Maulana Haji Imdadullah Muhajir Makki. After spending 2 months in the service of Haji Sahab, he then settled permanently in Medina Munawwara, residing with his revered father. Upon arriving in Medina Munawwara, he embraced a life characterized by deep piety, sincere devotion, and profound simplicity. Although he had not originally intended to emigrate from India, he chose not to leave his father's protective embrace and returned to India until his father's passing. Maulana Rashid Ahmed Gangohi invited you to India through a letter and bestowed upon you the honor of Ijazat-ul Khilafat. During this journey, you were granted the opportunity to remain for 3 months in the service of Maulana Rashid Ahmed Gangohi. Despite poverty and hardship, they relied and trusted in God. Usually from after Tahajjud until after Isha, for 12 continuous hours, the engagement of teaching and lessons in Tafsir, Hadith and Fiqh would continue. Various groups would appear one after another, benefiting from your abundant knowledge. Your hadith lectures in Masjid-e-Nabawi were more highly regarded and popular than those of all the hadith scholars there. Its widespread fame attracted a large number of students of knowledge from various Islamic countries to gather around you. Sheikhs and senior scholars started attending your lessons. In the sacred Hijaz, you began to be remembered by the esteemed title of Sheikh-ul-Haram. The reason for such profound attraction and widespread acceptance towards an Indian scholar in the holy land of Hijaz, especially within the revered Masjid-e-Nabawi, should be attributed to this very unique characteristic of your teaching methodology, which you had inherited from the rich academic tradition of Darul Uloom Deoband. While he was residing in Medina Munawwara, he visited India on many occasions. In 1911, he stayed in Deoband for nearly nearly a full year, rendering his valuable teaching services. In 1915, when Hazrat Shaykh-ul-Hind, for reasons of political expediency, journeyed to the sacred Hejaz, he took residence at your place, and it was through your mediation that he met with Turkey's war minister Anwar Pasha and Kamal Pasha and presented his revolutionary scheme before them. That was the time of the First World War and the Sharif's rebellion against the Ottoman government. When the Arabs revolted against the Turks and the Sharif of Mecca arrested Shaykh-ul-Hind, handing him over to the British, you two were involved in the swift operation of Hazrat Shaykh-ul-Hind, which first transported all these esteemed individuals to Egypt. From there, they were then transferred to Malta. Consequently, for 3¼ years, you also had to remain in Malta as a prisoner of war. During this period, you served your teacher, Hazrat Shaykh-ul-Hind Maulana Mahmud al-Hassan, worshipped Allah, stayed busy studying books, and also memorized the Holy Quran. In 1920, when your release order became widespread, you arrived in India with Hazrat Shaykh-ul-Hind. Your return from Malta marked the beginning of the Khilafat movement. Upon arriving here, you joined politics under the guidance of Hazrat Shaykh-ul-Hind. In this era, your valiant and self-sacrificing efforts filled the hearts of Muslims to the brim with your greatness and profound love. During this period, Maulana Azad established the National Madrasa Aliyah in Calcutta and requested Shaykh-ul-Hind to send one of his distinguished associates there for teaching. Upon this, he issued an order for you to proceed to Calcutta. You prioritized the will of your teacher, Hazrat Shaykh-ul-Hind, over your own wishes, and you had not gone very far when the news of Hazrat Shaykh-ul-Hind's demise arrived. You immediately returned to Deoband, but Shaykh-ul-Hind's burial had already taken place. After staying in Deoband for 3 or 4 days, you resolved to go to Calcutta. The administrator of Darul Uloom Deoband, Maulana Hafiz Muhammad Ahmed, advised you to remain right here in Darul Uloom Deoband. However, you stated that since Shaykh-ul-Hind has already given his instruction for you to go to Calcutta, it is therefore most appropriate for me to proceed to Calcutta. After this, he arrived in Calcutta and remained occupied with teaching at this madrasa for a significant duration. Then from there, he relocated to Sylhet, which is now in Bangladesh. There, for 6 years, he continued to deliver lessons on Hadith Sharif. He continued to guide and reform the people. He instilled in them the spirit of honor, self-esteem, and the passion for freedom, and countless individuals greatly benefited from his teachings. Upon the passing of Shaykh-ul-Hind, he was unanimously acknowledged and accepted as his rightful successor. You were the greatest custodian of Hazrat Shaykh-ul-Hind's political and academic legacy. You had the distinct honor of a long association, companionship, and service with Hazrat Shaykh-ul-Hind, in which none of your companions or contemporaries could match you. This was the era when India's freedom struggle was in full swing. A great commotion was raging everywhere. As the movement for freedom and political revolution gained strength, you also became deeply involved. It was during this very time, in 1921, that the renowned historical Karachi trial occurred. In 1921, you declared it forbidden for Muslims to serve in the British Army, and by publicly proclaiming this word of truth, you crushed the arrogance and pride of the tyrannical British government into dust. And for proclaiming this word of truth, a case was filed against you and you were sentenced to 2 years of rigorous imprisonment. In 1923, your term of confinement ended and you were granted your freedom. For your involvement in the freedom struggle, you had to spend many years in jail on numerous occasions. Approximately 8 years of your precious life were spent in the imprisonment for the nation's cause. You were counted among the pioneering leaders of the freedom movement, and for the independence of the country, you bore countless tribulations of confinement. From the esteemed platform of Jamiat Ulema-e-Hind, you provided innumerable services to the nation and its people and led this magnificent and glorious organization of the Indian Muslim community throughout your entire life. Maulana Habib-ur-Rahman Usmani, the Muhtamim of Darul Uloom Deoband, offered you to come to Darul Uloom Deoband. At first, you flatly refused, but upon the Muhtamim's insistence, in 1927, you accepted the presidential post of Darul Uloom Deoband on the condition that you would continue to participate in the freedom struggle movement. The rector of Darul Uloom Deoband and other responsible authorities, having accepted all your conditions, conferred upon you the esteemed position of rector of Darul Uloom Deoband, which proved to be highly beneficial for the institution. You held this high office for 32 years. During this period, such a shower of knowledge and wisdom rained down, bringing prosperity and new life to the entire Islamic world. Your Hadith lessons, in their comprehensive scope, were considered truly unique in the entire Islamic world. Consequently, their profound greatness, widespread fame, and undeniable appeal consistently led to a remarkable increase in the number of students year after year. You successfully rekindled a spirit of honor and self-respect among Muslims, and with unparalleled courage and immense strength of will, you diligently carried out both significant academic and crucial political endeavors. After the partition of India, you practically disengaged from politics and immersed yourself in teaching and imparting knowledge, preaching teaching and spiritual guidance, and education and character building. Your association with those in power did not continue. In 1954, the President of India even offered you an honorary position, but you refused, stating that it did not conform to the conduct and principles of your ancestors. You continued to impart lessons on Hadith Sharif at Darul Uloom Deoband, and simultaneously you toured the length and breadth of the entire nation. You were extremely punctual and disciplined with your time. He would stay up at night, completing his prayers and spiritual duties, studying academic books, and then teach with full enthusiasm. Jamiat Ulema-e-Hind was his beloved organization, to which he always remained devoted. In 1940, the presidency of Jamiat Ulema-e-Hind was entrusted to him, which he held until 1957, the year of his passing. For 70 years, this esteemed assembly of scholars diligently carried out its duties under your distinguished leadership. The volume of your literary works, however, remains limited, as you were unable to devote sufficient attention to this aspect due to your extensive involvement in diverse educational, political, missionary, and reformative endeavors. Here is a list of your books from jail: Maktubati Shaykh-ul-Islam, Naqshi Hayat, Ash-Shahab-us-Saqib, Asiri Malta, Mutahida Qawmiyatul Islam, Imanul Amal, Khutbat-i Sadarat, Al-Khilafatul Mahdi fil Ahadith us-Sahiha. In 1957, you embarked on a journey to visit various madrasas. The program for this trip was scheduled for approximately 1.5 months. During this journey, you suffered a heart attack. Upon your return to Deoband, doctors diagnosed that your heart had become enlarged. You received treatment from both local and foreign doctors, but unfortunately, there was no improvement. On December 4th, his overall condition remained quite peaceful and calm. By the morning of December 5th, a Thursday, his spirits had become remarkably cheerful and lively. Around 9 or 10 o'clock, he managed to leave his room without any assistance, relying solely on his stick, and made his way to the courtyard, where he then rested. After many long days, this was a small but significant sign of his returning health and strength. Many days later, that afternoon, he finally partook in a proper meal. Around noon, when I attempted to awaken him for the Zuhr prayer, there was no response. Around noon, it was announced that Shaykh-ul-Arab-wal-Ajam, Imam al-Asr, Muhaddith-i-Dur, Shaykh-ul-Islam, Maulana Hussain Ahmed Madani had passed away. Indeed, to Allah we belong, and to Him we shall return.